This is going to be taking another look at Chaos Zero Nightmares Gacha. We'll be taking a look at the Combatant banner as well as the Partner banner with the 50/50s and whatnot, with Partner banners having no 50/50. And just to make it interesting, we're going to compare it with EPIC7's Gacha system, since both of these games are from the same company. For anybody not familiar with EPIC7, the way EPIC7 works is that there is no 50/50. You do 120 rolls, and then your next roll is guaranteed. So on your 121st roll, it's 100%. And hero and artifacts, with heroes being combatants and artifacts being partners, are on the same banner. There's only one banner. So you can't really pity an artifact. You can see the artifact rate just keeps on going. But you can buy the artifacts in the shop, similar to Chaos Zero Nightmare, only one copy though. And also there's an additional artifact off-banner rate. So it goes 1% hero, 1% artifact, and then 0.75% off-banner artifact. So while the overall rates are really, really high for EPIC7, it's the only pity is for the hero, and the artifact you have to pick it up in the shop. It's also worth mentioning that you can't really compare these fully one-to-one, just because EPIC7 hands out like free, I guess, standard summons like candy. You get so many free standard summons, like hundreds a year, maybe even up to like 1,000. It gets pretty close. So we get a lot of just random heroes and random artifacts off of that. Let's go ahead and take a look at how they compare. Starting off, this is probably the most important graph, I would say. This is comparing the EPIC7 hero banner and Chaos Zero Nightmare Combatant banner while only looking at the rate ups, because Chaos Zero Nightmare has 50/50s. I've shown this one for Chaos Zero Nightmare before. You can see here, once you get to about 62, 61-ish, it starts jumping. And then there's another little second jump near the end to get up to 100%. Well, EPIC7, because it's a flat 1% with no soft pity, it just slowly increases all the way until you hit 121, and then you jump to 100%. Taking a look at this, you can see it's pretty much about 70% chance to not hit pity, with 30% of people having to hit pity per banner. And then comparing the two, you can see EPIC7 starts out a little bit higher, and this makes sense because it's 1% for the 5-star compared to 0.5% since we have the 50/50s active. But once the soft pity kicks in, Chaos Zero Nightmare starts passing EPIC7. And then from here, we're going to continue onwards, and then you go up a little bit. And then EPIC7 ends a little bit earlier because we have the true pity here. So it does cost less currency in the worst case scenario to get the 5-star. Though again, you have to keep in mind this depends on income. While this is probably not the case, if Chaos Zero Nightmare gave more currency than EPIC7, the difference in like the worst case scenario wouldn't really matter. EPIC7 is extremely generous with its currency income though. So pretty much if you are in this little section here, unlucky, you pass to the EPIC7 mark. But yeah, I think they're pretty similar. And this is only looking at rate ups too, but it's pretty similar. EPIC7 starts out a little bit higher, and then Chaos Zero Nightmare passes it for a bit until you hit the 121 mark. The thing is, like I said, this only looks at rate ups, which I consider to be the most important. So in terms of rate ups, I think it's fine. It's about the same as EPIC7. The other thing is, of course, we have to take a look at with the 50/50s, because the 50/50s give you a chance to get a off-banner hero. And they've announced that heroes, or I guess combatants, are going to be going into the standard pool. It's not going to be like a lot of other games where every single hero is limited. So this means that the value of you being able to hit off banners is slightly higher now. It's definitely a lot better than other games where you're just constantly rolling the same crappy starter units. This time we'll be able to get potentially higher value units, and also with just the way this game works, every unit felt playable, so we should be able to pick up some more valuable units, and you'll be able to experiment with a lot more different decks. But here is the rate up for any hero, and you can see here, pretty much it follows EPIC7 being 1%, and then the soft pity kicks in and we jump up super, super high. So if you were factoring in, just looking at any hero instead of only rate ups, then Chaos Zero Nightmare is going to give you way more characters just because the pity is so much shorter, plus you have the soft pity kicking in. But here you can just see all three of them. There's the Orange is rate up only for Chaos Zero Nightmare. Green is any hero. And then EPIC7 is just the blue one. And it's up to you whether you think this is like good or bad. I think because we can get any hero pretty much, they said the only characters that weren't going to be added to the standard pool were collab characters or seasonals, with seasonals meaning like holiday seasonals, not like the story seasons. Otherwise that would be like every single character. And then we can also, so the other thing is you can buy imprints directly from the shop in this case. For Chaos Zero Nightmare, well, EPIC7 you get a bunch of slates. I'd say that's comparing the two imprinting systems, and you can also get some dupes from the Galactic Calamity every single season. The other thing is, this ends up being not too much of an issue in EPIC7, but with every single character going into the standard pool, the pool does get very, very diluted. There just becomes so many heroes in the pool at some point. And for EPIC7, this isn't a huge problem because, like I said, we get so many free summons every single year, like hundreds and hundreds of free summons, and you get a lot of 5-star tickets. And these days, we get a ton of selectors too. So it's not very hard to get the character that you want. There's a good chance you just hit them randomly with the sheer volume of summons we get. And then with selectors, you just directly grab them. And also, I've mentioned that EPIC7 is extremely generous in its currency, so you definitely have the leeway to just like roll the character that you want every once in a while, even if they're not like a new character. And then for Chaos Zero Nightmare, I guess they make up for it by just having higher gacha rates. I'm not sure what like our standard banner income is going to be for Chaos Zero Nightmare, but I also think it would be really, really nice if we could have a way to, maybe not right now, but once the game starts getting more characters, like once we start hitting like 20 characters or something, if we could have a way to limit the pool of characters that we're getting instead of like going one, like a random character from a pool of like 30, 50 characters, just 1 out of 10, and we can change out who we're aiming for on our missed 50/50s. Now, lastly, we have to take a look at the artifact / partner banner as well, of course. So blue is the EPIC7 rate. It's rate up only, and like I mentioned, there's no pity. So after this, it would just keep on slowly increasing. And then this is the off banner rate, and then I also just combine them for anybody who wants to see. The green one is just combining both of them, with CZN being the orange. So since there's no 50/50 for CZN, you get your partners pretty fast. It's just right here at 70, and then it's a 1% rate, so it's stacked on the blue line here, and then once the soft pity kicks in, it just jumps up, and then you hit about here. Well, for EPIC7, when you look at both of them together, like the rate up and off banner, it's obviously higher, but with no real pity, it keeps on going. And combining them is relevant just for, because on our standard banners, this is what the artifact rate would be, and it would be completely random, but we get a lot of artifacts. So we have, yeah, so pretty much, if you're rolling the partner banner in CZN, you end up getting your partners pretty fast, though there's a question of whether or not it's even worth doing it, just because you can buy them in the shop directly. So you could just roll for characters and then buy your partners via the shop. But that's a completely different topic. Anyways, that's it for this. This was pretty much just looking at like all the different, what is it? What am I trying to say? All the different like types of banners we have in EPIC7 and Chaos Zero Nightmare, and comparing them. I think CZN's gacha rate is like honestly fine. It's definitely like, I'm not a 50/50 enjoyer very much, just because I think it's very unsatisfying having to like deal with the coin flip scenario every single time you roll. But them putting all heroes or almost all combatants into the standard banner definitely helps a lot. You're not going to just like hit a year into the game and feel like every single time you lose 50/50 it is complete garbage, because you know it's like a character you don't care about. Especially if they do something where we can thin out the pool of characters that we lose 50/50s to. Like I said, I think that could be really, really good for just making it so that our missed 50/50s don't like lose that much value. But that is it for this video, and I'll see you guys next time.